Okay, so I'm Mia, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing here. Am I trying to vlog? I don't know. I had a couple of pieces of advice I wanted to share, and I thought I would try this, even though it's very uncomfortable, and I'm not entirely sure that the microphone is working properly. Anyway, and if this does become a blog, I don't know what I'm gonna call it. Maybe like Mia's mini hacks or micro hacks. I don't know. My mother died in August, and she was a very sensible person. She was also a very anxious and crazy person, but super sensible, and I feel like some sense has been lost from the world, and so I am just trying to give some back. These are not necessarily anything I learned from her, but today we are going to talk about pears and pomegranates and how to cut them in a way that makes you not crazy and is not wasteful. I'm big on not being wasteful. So we're going to start with the pear. This only works for ripe pears, so if you like eating crunchy pears, I mean, I have a little judgment about that, but whatever, it's not going to work the same way. What you need for this is a knife and a fork. How do you know if it's a ripe pear? How do you know? It is this part up here. When you press on it, it has some give. This is actually quite a ripe pear, so I don't have to worry about this. Also, helpful tip, if you're making baby food, this will help you out a lot. So, take a knife. Doesn't have to be this big, but I like having a knife that's bigger than my pear, and cut it straight down the middle. This one cut very easily because it is so ripe. And then if you look at it here, you see there is this shape around the pear, and then there's usually an extension of the stem that comes. So this is the part that nobody wants to eat and that you have to get out of there. So easiest thing to do is take a fork, a simple fork, and jab it in and sort of towards the inside as if you were going to scoop it out underneath there. You get it all the way around, and then if you've got this stuff on top, you can also jab it around the top there, and then you stick your fork underneath and you just pull it out, and it's gone. And maybe you need to work a little harder to get this stuff in the top out. And then you still have this little bit here which you don't want to eat, which if you use a fork with a hard edge like this, you can just scoop it out like that. And then you will have a pear that you are ready to eat. And if you are preparing baby food for a baby, you can also just scoop it out with the fork and then mash it with the fork, and you have baby food. So, yum. Perfection. Oh, that's a really good pear. Okay. Oh, I'm glad I kept napkins nearby. That was not on purpose. And I would just like to be clear that I am not some sort of Martha Stewart wannabe. I'm not tidy. I will give you a sneak peek of the rest of my island over here, which is just a freaking disaster. Okay, there's just like dog treats and cookie tins, and I am not a tidy person. I'm not an organized person. I've got like crap sitting back there from packages. So I don't advocate for a sane life because I don't have one, but just little tiny things that maybe make your life better. So pomegranates. A lot of people have trouble with pomegranates because of this. Trader Joe's sells pomegranates in already seeded with all the seeds in the little package, and I have a little bit of judgment about that as well. Maybe not during a holiday week where you're really rushed and you just need some pomegranate for some fancy salad you're making, or if you have any sort of disability that makes doing this impossible. Of course, go to Trader Joe's, buy those. But otherwise, maybe just learn how to peel a pomegranate. So for this, I use a different sort of knife, a smaller, more manageable knife. This is a ceramic knife. I don't know if you've seen these. When you first get them, they are insanely sharp. Like, they're a little dangerous, but after you use them for a while, they dull like everything else, just slower. So what you're going to do with your pomegranate, you got your top here, you're going to cut a little circle around the top edge with the knife. just going to slide along. It's okay if it bleeds a little. Oh, the other thing I should say is if you're wearing nice clothes, stop right away. Not that I'm wearing nice clothes, but put an apron on immediately, because pomegranates stain a lot. And if you like my apron, my friend Sharon got it for me from Africa, so you're out of luck. It is very nice. I love this apron. So, okay, you continue on your way, cutting this circle around. You get it all the way around, make sure it's there, and then you stick your fingernails underneath. If you bite your fingernails and you don't have fingernails, I don't know how to help you. And you pry it off like a hat, basically. This is working better on this side where you can actually see the fruit. So this is a fairly thick skin on this particular pomegranate. You get that off. Cut a little bit more. Okay. So now we've got the top off, and you can see the sections of the pomegranate, right? And you see there are these white lines in here, these membranes that are dividing the pomegranate. And it varies how many there are, I think. That's been my experience anyway, and they're not necessarily evenly placed apart. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your knife and you're going to put it right where one of those lines is, and you're going to cut down. You don't even have to go all the way down to the other end, but you just want to slide the knife down. Let's just say to there. All right, and then you're going to go to the next line, which on this one is about here, and you're going to slide that down. Careful not to cut your hand. Again, slide it down. And it's more important that it's deeper up at the top than at the bottom. You do it for all of them. And then, pomegranate. You take your thumb, and this is where you're probably going to end up smushing some fruit. You really just grab it like this, and you pull down, and it comes out like that. And then you have a section of your pomegranate, and then you can do it for all of it. And then all of the seeds are super accessible, and you can take them off easily, pop them in your mouth. They're delicious. I eat them plain. I put them on salads. Some people put them on ice cream. But anyhow, this is how you get into a pomegranate. There's actually a better video of this. I learned this from a video on YouTube of some man in the Middle East with this really cool looking knife doing it on the ground. But if that's not your style, if you're not cooking on the ground, or you're not interested in finding that video, this is how you do it. All right, that's it for today. Take care of yourselves. Be sane. Make good choices. I'm out.